But that Esme, gone.
Oh, my God. Nikolas didn't just take Ace, you gave him away, didn't you?
Yes, Esme. Yes, he did. Hey, GH fans, in today's episode, Ace is gone. Original Joss is coming back. Nina is starting to feel her consequences. How exactly is Jason returning to Port Charles? And does this have anything to do with the unexpected visitor on Elizabeth's doorstep? This is the Port Charles Podcast. Hey, General Hospital fans, Eric here, the GH guy, back for the Port Charles Podcast. I want to thank you for tuning in to another show. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like the video, share your comments and your feedback. I love interacting with each and every one of you. So let's get into the show. First, I want to start off by saying I was not able to do a video last week because I was a little bit under the weather. And then Friday I had to go pick up my oldest daughter from her mom, so just wasn't able to get one out. But I do want to kind of start off by talking about the major plot twist that happened last week, and that would be the arrival of Angela Brighton to the scene. Now, I had kind of read that the woman that was playing this part was the woman who played BJ as a child, and I just originally thought, okay, this is a nice little twist, a little hat tip to the crowd, to the GH fans, to say, hey, we're going to bring her back to play this other character. I was not ready for what happened. Take a look at the following and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Anytime. Yeah.
I'm not hungry and I'm not tired. And I want my mommy and daddy right now. I want to go home.
Oh my God. Right, where's Barbara Jean? BJ's heart. BJ.
So come to find out, Angela Brighton really was BJ and her ghost and her spirit coming back to visit her friends and family in Port Charles. And this just completely blew me away. And I'll admit, this actually had me more emotional than everything having to do with Bobby and her funeral. And it was more emotional to me for personal reasons. And I'll kind of dig into this a little bit. I really don't share a lot about my personal life on here, but the reason why this little plot twist hit home to me was because back in 2013, me and my now ex-wife at the time, we had our first child together. It was my first son. It was actually her second. And he actually passed away very early on. And 11 months later, we had my oldest daughter, who is now 10. So when she was younger, we used to go to my son's grave and visit him and things like that. And I truly believe that from the time my oldest daughter was a baby, that she actually had a connection and saw her brother either around the house, out somewhere when we would visit him. So things like this, like I believe in this kind of stuff. So, and if you don't, that's fine. We all have our own beliefs and things but I'm just going by my experiences and what I believe and why this little plot twist on GH was so emotional for me. And so, and I've heard that young children like that do have a connection with spirits that are around us. And I truly believe that just based on my experiences. So as my daughter has gotten older and as people get older, they kind of lose that intuitiveness, that ability to see and hear things because your mind just gets more cluttered with everyday things, day-to-day stuff. So we just lose that ability. Now, my youngest daughter, who just turned 2 in November, I believe that she has this connection with her brother. We have seen things around the house. We have seen her mention his name out of nowhere when nobody was even talking about him. So, my personal opinion again, and you don't have to believe this, but I believe in this kind of stuff, and that's why this storyline hit home for me, was because of the experiences with my son, and then years later with his sisters. To know that somebody is coming back to watch over you, to interact with you, to look out for you, it really, really was emotional for me personally. I loved it. Like, it wasn't one of those things where it hit too close and I was turned off by it. I actually really appreciated the thought and the writing that went into that. And it was just such an amazing little twist of a storyline there. And let me know what you think. What was your opinion of the return of BJ through all of this? For me personally, I loved it. I thought it was a great twist. I loved not being spoiled by what was about to happen, and just kind of go along for the ride with that. If I would have seen spoilers on that, I would have been really disappointed when it happened, and I probably wouldn't have felt the emotion that I felt while watching it, especially when Felicia breaks down and realizes that they were interacting with BJ the whole time, and when Maxie kind of realizes it and Lucas realizes it, and the only down thing that I have to say about this whole thing, and I even told my wife, I said, watch, I guarantee you this is going to happen. Come the following week, everybody's going to forget about the fact that they just spent 2 days talking to a ghost. Like, nobody's going to mention it. Nobody says anything to Carly, Scotty, Lucy. Nobody else in town knows that they just spent a day talking to a ghost. Like, it's crazy to me. But I knew it was going to happen. I knew GH was going to just move on and forget about this whole thing. So, anyways, what are your thoughts on this whole little plot twist here? And what were your thoughts of them bringing back BJ and the actress that played her?
Ace is gone. He's gone.
Gone. Gone where?
With our father.
Now, here's what I don't get. Spencer realizes that Esme's memories are back, right? So there was really no reason, if you took a step back and thought about it for a second, there was no reason for him to give Ace to Nikolas, okay? You have somebody who remembers being held captive, but they can't come forward and say, yes, I remember everything about my past now. Because then she has to face the consequences and probably face charges for the revenge porn and everything else she did. So she's going to keep quiet about her memories coming back. Notice she hasn't told anybody what she remembers and when she started remembering. So if Spencer would have just told Nikolas to stick around or said, look, I can't hand him to you. Here's the way we're going to go about it, okay? Stay in town, take your son, make her fight you for him. And then, even if somehow, and yes, I know Nikolas is a wanted man, and he would probably go to jail for what he did. Although, if the victim can't remember, I think it's kind of hard to convict on what just Elizabeth says. I don't know. Maybe that's enough to convict, but I think if you would have called Esme's bluff on all of this, it would have worked out so much more in the Cassadine favor. And now Spencer's probably going to be in legal trouble over this because, I mean, he basically aided and abetting in a kidnapping. And it was just not very well thought out. I know Spencer is very impulsive. He always kind of has been. But this was just not very well thought out. Now, when Spencer handed Ace over to Nikolas, he did give Nikolas a warning.
If you ever hurt him, or if you ever abandon him.
No, never.
Listen to me. If you ever hurt him, I will find you, and I will make you pay.
Of course, Nikolas always seems and acts like he's well-meaning, but we now see he has a very, very bad track record when it comes to making the right decisions. So now Laura is upset with Spencer. Ava is completely disgusted with anything Cassadine. Will Trina be next on the list to turn her back on Spencer? Leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. Is Trina going to go to Paris now without Spencer after everything he's done? Or will she see this as the ultimate way to get him away from everything and protect him so that he doesn't possibly face legal charges for what he's just done?
If you hadn't lost me before, Nina, you have now.
Oh, Nina. My, how the mighty have fallen. Nina is certainly starting to face the consequences for her actions. Sonny's already left her. Her daughter's turned her back on her. And what's next?
Right, and I know you're the editor-in-chief of Crimson, but I'm still your boss. Till now. You're fired.
Drew is definitely hell-bent on making Nina pay, and I kind of like this little new edge to Drew. He's been getting very boring, and I know Sam and Carly were having a conversation about how much Drew has changed, but I actually kind of like it. He was very vanilla, he was very boring, there wasn't really a whole lot to like or care about. Now that he's kind of has this edge to him and he's going after Nina, it's going to make for some really exciting scenes coming up pretty soon. Oh, but does Drew have a sharper dagger for Nina than we even thought? Take a look at this.
I'm irreplaceable.
And yet I've already replaced you. Nina, meet Crimson's new editor-in-chief.
So now Nina has lost her husband, she's lost her daughter, she's lost her friends, now she's lost her job at Crimson. Will this cause Nina to completely spiral out of control? Or will this cause her to sharpen her talons, dig in deeper, and fight like hell to get back what she's lost? Leave me a comment below and let me know. What do you think? What do you think this is going to cause Nina to do? Is she going to spiral out of control, or is she going to fight back even harder? Let me know what you think. Before we get to the latest news, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of what's going on General Hospital. I love interacting with each and every one of you. Now, word has it that Eden McCoy will be returning to General Hospital in early February, possibly even as soon as the first week in February, to reprise her role as Josslyn Jax. Personally, I think Courtney Fulk has been doing an amazing job as Josslyn. I love her portrayal of the character. And what I would actually like to see is, after Courtney leaves, let her be gone for a little while and then bring her back down the line as a new character. I think she is an amazing actress. I think she has completely knocked it out of the park with Josslyn. I hate to say that I actually kind of like her portrayal a little better. She seems older and more fitting of this kind of college age Josslyn. For some reason, I still feel like Eden McCoy's portrayal of Josslyn is a little more on the younger side. And I get it. Like, Jocelyn's barely 18, 19 years old, whatever. But I just love the job that Courtney's been doing, and hopefully they can find something for her down the line, or maybe this leads to another show picking her up and giving her a role. Either way, Courtney Fulk has done an amazing job. She's a beautiful young woman, a really talented actress, and I hope nothing but the best for Courtney going forward. But it will be nice to see Eden come back. Glad to see that she's taken some time away. Hopefully, you know, her mental health, everything is gotten better since the loss of her mother. Again, I can't even imagine what that young lady has been going through. My heart really goes out to her and the rest of her family during these tough times. And, you know, like I said before, we will welcome Eden back whenever she is ready to come back. But it looks like early February will be her return date.
Yeah. And nothing ever stays buried.
Oh, you got that right, Michael. Nothing ever stays buried in Port Charles. And as we recently confirmed right here on this show, Jason Morgan is coming back to Port Charles. But which Jason is actually returning? That's the big question, and that's the big rumor out there right now. There's a lot of different directions they can go with this, and some are speculating that it might not necessarily be the old Jason Morgan coming back. Could we be getting a look at the return of Jason Quartermaine? A lot of rumors, a lot of speculation out there. We don't know for sure yet how he's going to return and in what capacity. Could he be Jason Morgan? Could he be Jason Quartermaine? Could he be kind of a combination of both? We don't know. Right now, all it is speculation. I would love to know, which version of Jason would you like to see come back? Would you prefer the Stone Cold Jason Morgan, that's Sonny's right-hand man? Would you like to see the one that remembers that he was a medical student and wants to kind of pursue, that avenue of his life? Me personally, I've always loved the Jason Morgan character. I never really got to see him as Jason Quartermaine. When I started tuning into the show, he was already Jason Morgan. He had made that transition. That's the only Jason I've ever known. That's the Jason I want to see come back. I would love to see Jason come back with more of an edge like he had in the late 90s, early 2000s. I feel like when Steve came back, it was great. It was great to have him back. I hope this time he never leaves until he's ready to actually retire from acting. But I feel like this version of Jason just did not have that edge anymore. And I realize as you get older, you kind of lose a little bit of that. You lose the attitude, you lose the bravado, you lose the edge a little bit. But I would love to see that edge kind of come back in Jason. They're giving an edge to Drew. Give one back to Jason when he comes back. Me personally, that's what I would like to see. Also, how does Jason coming back affect certain relationships currently going on in Port Charles? As we know, when Jason died this last time, he and Carly had just gotten married. And they apparently were getting close and realized, hey, we actually love each other. There's something here. And then that's when Sonny came back. Could he affect Carly's relationship with Drew? Could he affect Sam's relationship with Dante? Or could he even affect Elizabeth's relationship with Finn? And speaking of Elizabeth, word has it that she is going to have a major surprise showing up on her doorstep soon. What could this surprise be? Is it as major as they really say it is? Or is it just one of those, oh, I wasn't expecting to see you. Great. Good. Come on in. Could the return of Jason have anything to do with this? Could he be the major surprise that shows up on Elizabeth's doorstep? Could be Jason. If so, does this go back to years ago when Jason was shot and Elizabeth helped nurse him back to health and kept, his whereabouts secret? Could happen again. We don't know. Could the return on Elizabeth's doorstep be that of Nikolas Cassadine? Maybe he stops by her house before he actually hightails it out of town to see her, to kind of get on the same page with what she's told the police, so that he has all the information when he goes on the run of what exactly he might be up against should he decide to stay in Port Charles. Could the surprise on her doorstep be the return of her sister Hayden? There's been no actual word of her coming back or the return of that character, so I'm going to kind of possibly rule this one out. I don't think this one's a real possibility. Could it be Lucky coming back? I've even heard that as a rumor out there, that maybe Lucky comes back. Not Jonathan Jackson, however. Could be a recast as Lucky Spencer coming back to the fold. As you know, they do share a son together, and that could be a possibility. Or could this just be a simple Cameron's back from school for holiday, for vacation, time off during the semesters? I don't know. Could it just be Cameron coming back and she's like, oh, wow, I didn't even know you were coming home. All right, come on in, son. It could be something simple and basic as that. Let me know, who do you think is going to show up on Elizabeth's doorstep and be a major surprise in her life? Comment below and let me know what you think. All right, folks, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you like this kind of new version of my show here with the video clips and everything like that. I'm going to try to incorporate more of that into the show, kind of give you all a little bit more to it than what I have been in the past. And anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Please, once again, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. You don't need to hit the notification bell. It's not that important to me, if you want to be notified when my videos come up. It means a lot to me if you do. I notice some of you have, and I appreciate that very much. That definitely means a lot and is very touching for me. But subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I'm trying to get to 1,000. That's kind of my next big goal of this channel here. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comments below, no matter how little, no matter how big. If you have questions, leave them. I'll answer everybody that I can get to. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, this has been Eric, the GH guy, for the Port Charles Podcast.